Hello, I'm Michael, and we are going to talk about multiplying a negative number by a negative number. But before we get started, let's have a quick review of what it means to be a negative number. So here I have -5. Recall that when we first introduced negative numbers, we introduced negative numbers as a number 5 multiplied by -1. And well, you might ask, well, what did that mean? We all operate on a number line in our mathematical system, and the numbers we are most familiar with are the positive numbers, and 5 is, well, there's 5. Multiplying 5 by -1 gives us a number on the left side of the 0, the same distance away. The impact of multiplying a number by -1 means that it moves a positive number over into the negative side. Similarly, if we were to take the negative of, say, a negative number 4, again, that means we are taking the product of this negative means -1 and multiplying it by -4. And we could do that again, but what I want to do is illustrate what impact does it have on -4 when I multiply it by a -1. Well, -4, here's 0. When I multiply it by -1, what it's going to give me is a number that is 4 away from 0, but on the opposite side of the number line. What number is that? That is +4. So multiplying -1 times -4 creates +4, much like multiplying 5 by -1 created a negative number. So multiplying by -1 changes the number. If it's positive, it changes it to negative. If it's negative, it changes it into positive. So now, how might this work if we want to multiply, say, two random negative numbers? Two negative numbers that aren't necessarily -1 or -4 or -5. So let's take -5 and -4. I want to multiply those two numbers. What is going to be the positiveness or the negativeness of this product? Well, I'm going to use the concepts that we discussed up here when we take negative numbers, when we multiply a number by -1. And I'm going to do that by, at first, might seem a little more complicated. I'm going to transform -5, I'm going to write it as -1 times 5. And I'm going to do the same thing with -4. Notice that I haven't changed anything about the actual values of the numbers. I've just written -5 as -1 times 5, and -4 as -1 times 4. And I'll write above here. Now, as we recall from some of our properties of mathematics, in a product, I can take any number of these numbers and change the order if we are multiplying. What that means I can do is I am going to group the -1s together. And what do I have left is the 5 and the 4. Now, based on what we discussed up here with the negative numbers, what is -1 times -1? Well, when I multiply a number by -1, it changes, the value of the number stays the same, but either it goes from positive to negative, or it goes from negative to positive. So -1 times -1, what that's going to be is 1. And then I still have the 5 and the 4. And when we multiply those all together, we get 20. But the important thing here is that what resulted when we had two